Happy Easter, everybody. It's time for another 2 minutes with Danny V, the Origins of the Easter Bunny edition. Now, there are several myths as to the origin of the Easter Bunny, and they're all pretty good, but this one's my favorite. I heard it a very, very long time ago. I came across it when I was reading pagan traditions at the University of New Mexico Library instead of studying for a test. Anyway, it begins with the goddess of spring, and there's different spellings, but it was called Oster, O-S-T-E-R. And she used to come down every spring, and the flowers would start to bloom, and the grass would turn green, and she would reach out her arms, and then the animals would come out of hibernation, and the birds would start making their nests. And so she was walking over, looking over how everybody was doing, and she saw a sparrow crying. And she goes, "Dear sparrow, what is wrong? How can I help you?" And she says, and the sparrow says, "It's a hideous bird. It has no colors in its feathers. It's just a plain brown bird. Everybody makes fun of me. I'm an ugly, ugly bird." And she says, "Don't cry, sparrow, you know." And she waved her hand, and the sparrow became the most beautiful bird anywhere ever seen. Many beautiful colors. Forget a peacock. The heck with those other cartoon birds. It was stunning, and all the animals came to the sparrow and saw its new feathers, and they complimented it, and they started to think it must be, since it was blessed by Oster, or it must be some kind of god. And so they would bring it gifts, and then the bird, instead of saying, "No, I'm just very thankful to have these feathers," started to act like it was a god. And it took the gifts, and it started to tell people, "You must bow before me," and all the animals. And Oster heard this, and she got very angry. And she went down there and she said, "Why are you doing this? You cry because you were ugly, and I gave you beautiful feathers, and now you're acting like you're a god. You're not a god. You're just a bird." And she was so angry, she turned the bird into a rabbit or a hare, the most hideous of all animals, because they live underground, and they eat anything. They eat anything and everything. And they're chased away, and they're hunted down, and they're the easiest to catch of all the animals by predators. And farmers shot. If they found a rabbit, they shot it because they would eat their vegetables. And the rabbit was crying, and he's just like, "You can't do this to me. I cannot live this. It is more than I can stand. I don't know what to do." And Oster says, "Well, you better start digging your rabbit hole." And so he dug the hole. And after finished, the rabbit was still crying. He says, "Please have mercy on me." And she says, "Tell you what. Once a year, you would turn into what you were, the most beautiful bird everywhere, and you will lay colored eggs for all the children to find, and they will celebrate you. And you'll be known as the Oyster Bunny, or the Easter Bunny nowadays." And so all those colored eggs you see out there are laid by the Easter Bunny, which once a year turns into this bird that lays magically colored eggs. So it ended up being 4 minutes with Danny V, but happy Easter, everybody. Hope you're doing well.